welcome back. I'm Tonya from Tonya's Witchy Kitchen, and how are you doing today? I'm doing pretty good. This weather's been nuts, just crazy nuts. Like we had 8 inches of snow last week. I think our that like the town I live in, I think they recorded like 8 inches of snow, and so that was Saturday because my kids were like, you know, trying to get the snowmobile running and stuff like that. But yeah, they bought it from an auction sale and it's not running very well. Somebody's gonna have to take it apart. But yeah, and then it was cold, like 4 above was the high, and then we come into this week and it was like 50s, 60s, 70s. It's like, this is nuts. This is nuts. Like, I mean, I'm enjoying the weather, but I'm actually afraid of what the summer's gonna be like. Is it gonna be the same yo-yo thing? Hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold? I don't want that. I want summer. Come on, summer. Yeah. I have some seeds I want to plant. I want to plant some seeds here soon. That would be fun. Do you like my shirt? I was at a vendor show and this girl offered to make me a shirt. Well, we did some swapping. Yeah. But yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I will put her information. I don't think she has a website. I think she just has an email. But I will put her information in the comments below because she did stellar. I just love it. I am just like thrilled with it. So yes, I am. Yeah, I didn't know that. Like at this one show, which I have done more than once, and there were different vendors there, but they're like, oh, don't you do the barter thing? And I'm like, what's the barter thing? And they're like, well, the trade thing. I'm like, what's the trade thing? I was like, you trade. I'll give you this. That's worth $3 to me. If you give me something, that's worth $3 to you. And I was just like, I didn't know that was a thing. Okay. I have a t-shirt book. Have you ever seen the t-shirt book? It's all the things you can do with t-shirts, like to, you know, change them. But my favorite is probably fringing it out, adding fringe, or doing the tying it on the sides, you know. There are some where you slit it, you cut slits, and then you overlap it, and so it creates this, like, you know, it's a weird open look, you know. But, you know, sometimes the collars get too, they're just, you know, they need more stretch. So, you know, you can cut the collar. And t-shirts are very forgiving because they're not like jeans where they ravel. They won't ravel. My daughter made a couple of things out of there and they turned out super cute. But she's tiny, so everything looks good on her. Actually, both my girls, everything looks good on them. Me, I'm a totally different duck. Speaking of ducks and chickens and geese, I told my husband, we were looking at how much they are for just a baby chick and all this stuff. We didn't get any last year because the person who was going to hatch them out for us, she didn't get any either. And so that was very disappointing. But I told my husband, I'm like, I don't care. We need some more ducks. We need some more geese. You're just going to have to suck it up and buy them through the store. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. He never listens to me, and then I always turns around and bites him in the butt. So it's like, why don't you just learn to listen to me? Yeah. But anyway, today we are doing the last random sass soap in this series. The last random sass soap. So 3 things: be kind, be forgiving, be you. And let's go check out the last random soap. Pink Cadillac. And to our soap. Now you might have seen a short on this because I put one out shortly after I did it because it was just the cutest soap. Absolutely adored this soap. So this one is called Pink Cadillac. The fragrance oil is actually grapefruit and mangosteen from Aztec Candle Company. To say it accelerated, yeah. I would say this fragrance oil definitely accelerated on me, which was okay. We'll get into that after we blend these colors up with my little mini whisk that I just adore. I have so much fun with that thing. So the first color is, or the only color in this soap, is the neon magenta from Nurture's Handmade. We have activated charcoal and with a smidge of black oxide added to it, and then titanium dioxide is added to give it a more white color. Yes, massive acceleration. As you can see, it's like, what? I guess you have to have those, you have those on those bigger jobs, and yeah, because there really was no call for this at all. There was nothing. This is my good swirl recipe, and I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. So yeah, in case you want to know, I don't know if I went on Aztec and put that in there. Love the scent. I absolutely adore the scent. Is it worth the acceleration? Oh, absolutely. Yep. Because I was actually thinking, like, I might do down the road a bigger soap with not that fragrance oil, because I don't have any. And after doing my inventory this year, I was like, I'm basically not allowed to buy any more fragrance oils. Because, yeah, somebody needs to use up some of those fragrance oils that she has, and quit buying some. So, yeah. And there's been some really good sales, and I'm just like, nope. And then I do the window shopping thing, throw everything in my cart, and then I'm like, I cannot do this. Like, I cannot do this. Maybe when it gets closer to fall, or this summer, I know there's some I need for fall soaps, but I am just like, nope. No more fragrance oils. Cannot do it. Now, there was part of this did work out to my advantage, because I did want to do an initial at the end, a swirl. I just wasn't expecting all these I was not expecting that at all, to have to plop it in the mold like that. So if you have a fragrance oil where you have to plop it in the mold, this is definitely a strategy you could use. Put the skewer all the way down to the bottom and maybe cut it differently so you get some, nice layers. But yeah, definitely thick. Definitely thick. And then this was part of the original plan. So like I said, I wasn't expecting it to be so dang thick, but it probably helped in the end. Although I don't see why, if it was runny, it wouldn't have worked either. But but here it is. Look at that. Just gorgeous. And as I told you way at the beginning, I do let these set in the mold at least 2 to 3 days. Okay, so I am not taking them out of the mold 24 hours later. They sit in that silicone mold with saran wrap on top for a few days. Just because for some reason they get soft. They're just too soft. And I think this is actually the only soap you're going to see where I actually use the cutter to cut it. Everything else, either I missed the cut, or I missed the pour, or I missed everything, or I was still using the other, just the hand cutter. So I got smart, and ta-da! used my soap cutter like I should. Like, why not? Yeah, because, there's worse things you can do with a soap cutter. And I've probably, done some doozies. But putting this sucker to work for me, I am so glad. Like, when I decided to buy a soap cutter, that I bought this one. And this is from Nurture's Handmade, back when it was Nurture's soap. And yeah, I don't think they sell them anymore, but dang, do I really like it. I can cut all my soaps. I haven't, have I come across one I couldn't cut? I'm not sure, but I don't feel like I have. And so it's just amazing to me that this thing's a workhorse. It's a workhorse. I mean, if I was ever doing a massive amount of bars, yeah, of course, you'd want to, but that's down the road. That's not here today. And I was like, what if I do this? What if I put a board there, because sometimes I feel like they cut a little bit wonky, and who knows, sometimes it's just me. So that's what I was doing. Yep, I would cut the first one because it was fine. And then the second one is just because it's so small, And then I'm like, what did I do before? I figure it out. Eventually, I figure out all the things the hard way, usually. But I guess, sometimes at least it sticks with you if it's the hard way. Aren't those beautiful? They're just beautiful. And when I was actually, thinking of a name, I was like grapefruit, but I was like, this doesn't, that just doesn't fit at all. And then that 80s song, Pink Cadillac by Natalie Cole, hit my brain, and I was like, oh, perfect. This is absolutely perfect. It just fits. Oh, that's my little gnome from the beeswax company that I buy from. If you find the little gnome and you throw it in your cart, you get a free little beeswax gnome. He's so cute, but he's fallen off my shelf a couple times, so now his little hat is dented. Yeah. Had a little fixing to do just because of how thick the batter was, to begin with. But I'm super proud of these. These go up there with the Turn the Tide one, and they're just so cute. And Forbidden Fruit, but Forbidden Fruit is a short because I lost, didn't record the footage for the pour of the soap. But what do you think of these? Tell me what your favorite is. There's so many. So cute. Absolutely. Here are the bars when they're totally cured. And as always, I hope you had a good time. Thank you for dropping by, and I will see you next time. God bless.